Hey everyone, welcome back to Movie Trivia and Facts. It's getting spooky around here. The leaves are turning, there's a chill in the air though, and you know what that means. It's officially spooky season. Now, Halloween is just around the corner, and what better way to celebrate than by curling up on the couch with a bowl of popcorn and a terrifyingly good movie. Today we're diving deep into the crypt of cinematic terrors to unearth the top 10 must-watch Halloween movies that will have you sleeping with the lights on. From classic slashers to spine-chilling supernatural thrillers, we're covering all the bases to make sure your Halloween movie marathon is one for the history books. So grab your pumpkin spice latte, turn down the lights, and get ready for some bone-chilling recommendations that will have you screaming Happy Halloween. We kick off our list with a true classic, a film that practically invented the slasher genre as we know it, John Carpenter's Halloween. This 1978 masterpiece introduced the world to Michael Myers, a masked killer who escapes from a psychiatric institution and returns to his hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois. He's not just coming home, he's coming home on Halloween night with murder on his mind. What makes Halloween so terrifying is Carpenter's masterful use of suspense. The film is a masterclass in slow-burn horror, with an eerie soundtrack and long, drawn-out shots that build tension with every passing second. And then there's Michael Myers himself, the embodiment of pure evil. He's a relentless force of nature with an iconic white mask that hides any trace of humanity. Jamie Lee Curtis also makes her film debut as Laurie Strode, the quintessential final girl who must confront Michael's evil. Halloween is a must-watch for any horror fan, especially during the Halloween season. It's a timeless classic that continues to terrify and inspire countless filmmakers and moviegoers even today. Next up, we're delving into the realm of supernatural horror with a film that terrified audiences upon its release and continues to send shivers down spines to this day. William Friedkin's The Exorcist. This 1973 masterpiece tells the story of Regan McNeil, a 12-year-old girl possessed by a demonic entity. The Exorcist doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. It gets under your skin with disturbing imagery, powerful performances, and a palpable sense of dread. As Regan's possession progresses, her behavior becomes increasingly erratic and disturbing. Her voice deepens, she speaks in tongues, and her body contorts in impossible ways. Two priests are called to perform an exorcism and save Regan from the demon. The exorcism scenes are legendary, filled with profanity, violence, and groundbreaking special effects. The Exorcist is a cinematic masterpiece that has earned its place in horror history. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're venturing into the nightmarish world of Freddy Krueger in Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. This 1984 classic introduced the world to one of the most iconic horror villains of all time. Freddy Krueger is the stuff of nightmares. With his burned face, razor-sharp claws, and sadistic sense of humor, he's every insomniac's worst fear. Craven blurs the lines between reality and fantasy, creating a surreal and unsettling world. One minute you're in a high school hallway, the next you're trapped in a boiler room with Freddy. The film features a young Johnny Depp in one of his earliest roles. Sleep becomes a living nightmare in Freddy's world. A Nightmare on Elm Street is a must-watch for fans of slasher films. Hold on to your crucifixes because we're diving into the world of paranormal investigations with James Wan's The Conjuring. Released in 2013, this supernatural horror film is based on the true case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, two of the most renowned paranormal investigators in history. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga deliver chillingly authentic performances as Ed and Lorraine, a husband and wife team who dedicated their lives to battling evil spirits. They're called to a secluded farmhouse in Rhode Island where the Perron family is being terrorized by a dark and malevolent presence. What starts as strange noises and objects moving on their own quickly escalates into full-blown supernatural assaults. The Conjuring is a masterclass in atmosphere and tension. This is one of those movies that will make you want to sleep with the lights on, especially if you believe in the paranormal. Let's take a break from the terrifying stuff for a moment and dive into a Halloween classic that's fun for the whole family, Hocus Pocus. This 1993 Disney film tells the story of the Sanderson sisters, three witches who are accidentally resurrected by a teenage boy in Salem, Massachusetts on Halloween night. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy steal the show as the hilarious and delightfully wicked Sanderson sisters. They're out to regain their youth by stealing the life force of children. And it's up to Max, his little sister Danny, and their new friend Allison to stop them. Hocus Pocus is a delightful blend of comedy, horror, and musical numbers. The Sanderson sisters are iconic Halloween figures, and their antics will have you laughing out loud one minute and hiding under the covers the next. This is a Halloween classic that's become a beloved tradition for many families. Brace yourselves, folks, because we're about to explore the depths of psychological horror with Ari Aster's Hereditary. This 2018 film is not for the faint of heart. It's a slow burn descent into madness that will stay with you long after the credits roll. Toni Collette delivers a tour de force performance as Annie Graham, a woman whose family is haunted by a dark and disturbing secret. After the death of her secretive mother, Annie, her husband and their two children begin to experience strange and terrifying events. Hereditary is a film that gets under your skin and stays there. It's a masterclass in atmosphere and dread, with unsettling imagery, a haunting score, and a palpable sense of unease that permeates every scene. The film explores themes of family, grief, mental illness, and the insidious nature of trauma. It's a film that will stay with you long after you've seen it, prompting reflection and discussion about its disturbing themes, but it's also a brilliant and unforgettable piece of filmmaking that should not be missed. Get ready to scream, because we're diving headfirst into the world of meta-horror with Wes Craven's Scream. Released in 1996, this slasher film revitalized the genre with its clever blend of horror and self-awareness. Neve Campbell stars as Sidney Prescott, a high school student who becomes the target of a mysterious killer wearing a ghost face mask. But this isn't your typical slasher. The killer is a horror movie fanatic who's obsessed with the rules of the genre. Scream is a love letter to horror movies, but it's also a sharp satire of the genre's cliches. The characters are all aware of horror movie tropes, and they often discuss them at length. This meta approach to horror was groundbreaking at the time, and it helped to usher in a new wave of self-aware horror films. The film also features a memorable supporting cast, including Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and Drew Barrymore. Scream is a must-watch for any horror fan. Get ready for a chilling tale of grief, paranoia, and a monster that lurks in the shadows with Jennifer Kent's The Babadook. This 2014 Australian horror film is a masterclass in psychological horror, exploring the destructive nature of grief and the terrifying power of our own minds. Essie Davis delivers a powerhouse performance as Amelia, a widowed mother struggling to cope with the death of her husband while raising her troubled son, Samuel. Their lives take a sinister turn when a disturbing children's book called Mr. Babadook mysteriously appears in their home. The book tells the story of a terrifying creature that haunts its victims once they become aware of its existence. As Samuel becomes increasingly convinced that the Babadook is real, Amelia dismisses it as a figment of his imagination. The Babadook is a haunting exploration of grief, loss, and the monsters that we create in our own minds. Let's switch things up with a horror anthology film that perfectly captures the spirit of Halloween, Michael Dougherty's Trick or Treat. Released in 2007, this cult classic weaves together 5 interconnected stories set in a small town on Halloween night. Each story offers a unique take on Halloween traditions and urban legends, from trick-or-treating gone wrong to a school bus full of children who meet a watery demise. Trick or Treat is a visually stunning film with a dark sense of humor and a genuine love for all things Halloween. If you're looking for a film that celebrates the spirit of Halloween in all its spooky glory, look no further than Trick or Treat. We're wrapping up our list with a modern horror classic that'll have you terrified of clowns. Andy Muschietti's It. This 2017 adaptation of Stephen King's iconic novel brings Pennywise the dancing clown to life in all his terrifying glory. Bill Skarsgård delivers a chilling performance as Pennywise, a shape-shifting entity that preys on the fears of children. He's every childhood nightmare come to life, and he's ready to terrorize the town of Derry, Maine. The film follows a group of outcast kids known as the Losers Club who must confront their fears and band together to defeat Pennywise. It is a film that works on multiple levels. It's a terrifying horror film, but it's also a coming-of-age story about the power of friendship and the importance of facing your fears. Just be prepared to be sleeping with the lights on for a while. So, there you have it, folks. Those are my picks for the top 10 must-watch Halloween movies that are guaranteed to give you chills and thrills. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel for more spooky content just like this. And be sure to let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Halloween movies are. Until next time, stay spooky and have a happy Halloween.